In 1985, Saturday night's main event premiered on NBC as a late-night seasonal special, giving national audiences a glimpse of Hulk Hogan and all the other big stars several times a year. The 90-minute programs were filled with memorable matches featuring anybody who was somebody during the prime Hulkamania years. While Saturday night's main event didn't boast any true 5-star classics owing to both time constraints and the product style, some of the Golden Age's best matches were indeed broadcast as Saturday flipped to Sunday. I'm Sam Driver from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 greatest classic WWE Saturday night's main event matches. Join us! Number 10, Hulk Hogan vs. Paul Orndorff for the WWF Championship in a steel cage match. I get that lots of wrestling fans aren't fond of the cage escape rule that WWE utilizes. Hell, Jesse Ventura claimed he didn't know escape finishes when he in fact had called approximately 2,700 matches with that exact rule. In this example, not only does the cage escape win, but the rule played a hand in one of the more unusual false finishes ever. And yes, the body was there donning the headset to witness it all. After a heated early sequence, Hogan began climbing out, while Orndorff began climbing the other side. A foot race ensued and both men jumped to the floor at the same time. It was a veritable photo finish, so it was decided to have both men resume the match. This time, there was no saving Orndorff as Hogan overpowered him en route to an undisputed first place escape. Number 9, the British Bulldogs vs. the Dream Team for the WWF Tag Team Championships in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid could be counted on for excellent matches during a slower, brawnier period for the WWF, while Greg the Hammer Valentine was a supreme worker. A greener Beefcake ended up holding his own during the Bulldogs Dreams feud that lasted much of 1986, culminating in this nationally televised blow-off where the Bulldogs put the belts on the line. The heels worked over Dynamite's knee early on, allowing Valentine to take the first fall with his trademark figure 4 leg lock. Dynamite managed to escape peril during the second fall, tagging Davey Boy in to clean house. After a few near falls, the Bulldogs pulled out their Rube Goldberg super-assisted diving headbutt to pin the Hammer. And in the final fall, Beefcake worked to shift the momentum back, flooring Davey Boy with a high knee. A second attempt hit the buckles, however, and Davey pinned the Future Barber with a fisherman's suplex. Though not quite as good as their WrestleMania 2 clash, the Bulldogs and Dreams still delivered a strong Saturday night wrestling outing. Number 8, the Hart Foundation vs. the Rockers. This wouldn't be the infamous broken rope match that resulted in the Rockers' tag title win being nullified and retconned. Instead, neither team were champions going in, and were in fact just two top-shelf babyface duos looking to contend for the belts presently held by a third babyface team, Demolition. As you might suspect, with a match containing these 4 men, it's one ambitious high-octane sequence after another, with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty piecing together technical brilliance with Bret Hart while flying around the ring off of Jim Neidhart's power moves. During the 10-minute bout, Axe and Smash come out to scout the potential opposition. Alas, Demolition insinuated themselves against both duos, resulting in the match being thrown out. But before that cruddy ending, the Harts and Rockers stole the show with their expected excellence. Number 7, Macho Man Randy Savage vs. Brutus Beefcake. Sound the alarm! This is not a drill! We have actual video evidence that Brutus the Barber Beefcake had a singles match in the approximate 4-star range. Wait, what? His opponent was Randy Savage? Well, I guess that's no surprise then. Savage could carry Andrew or Fraser to a 3-star match on 5 minutes notice. Though, to be fair, Beefcake turned into a rock-solid performer before his 1990 parasailing accident, and he more than kept pace with Macho here. The crowd is just nuclear for the entire deal, living and dying on near falls, rapid-fire sequences, and for both ends of sensational Sherry's involvement, booing when she interferes, losing their minds when she gets her comeuppance. Beefcake never looked more like a main event level player than when he took the fight to Savage in this bout, and the crowd absolutely bought him as an ascending talent. However, interference from No Holds Barred's Zeus begets Hogan's involvement, resulting in a DQ finish and a prelude to a pretty well-known SummerSlam main event. Number 6, Demolition vs. the Brainbusters for the WWF Tag Team Championships in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Man, the WWF was really inspired that night, weren't they? 2 banger matches on one 1980 Saturday night's main event broadcast was tantamount to having a 90-minute WrestleMania X7. Okay, maybe not exactly, but it's still worthy of historical note. More historic is the fact that during the show's initial 6-year run on NBC, this was the only time a title change took place. Demolition had reigned for nearly 16 months with the belts, a Federation record that stood until 2016, when WWE had the New Day surpass them. After putting away every conceivable duo, it was 2 former horsemen that pulled the Demolition sword from the stone. The Demos took the first fall when Smash pinned Arn Anderson, but they got DQ'd in the second. For the final frame, Andre the Giant joined his fellow Heenan family members at ringside. During a huge scrum, Andre slid a chair into the ring, allowing Tully Blanchard to crown Smash, enabling Anderson to steal the gold on behalf of the family. Number 5, Mr. Perfect versus Tito Santana for the Intercontinental Championship. Both of these men were in very different places by 1990. Perfect was soaring among the top heels in the WWF, while the once heavily pushed Santana had been shunted down to what amounted to a jobber to the stars role. Few truly expected Santana to wrest away Perfect's IC belt, but damned if they didn't work to make you believe. Santana seemingly had the match won early on when he snagged Perfect in a figure 4, and the champion was stuck in the middle of the ring. Sadly, moments earlier, referee Earl Hebner had been bumped and seemingly blew out his leg in the process. Santana went on to leave Perfect prone with his flying forearm smash, but Gimpy Earl couldn't render a timely count. The match from there was a scientific gem, a fiery seesaw battle that Santana would have regularly starred in a few years earlier. But sadly, victory wasn't to be. Perfect reversed an inside cradle into one of his own and eked out the win. Number 4, the Honky Tonk Man versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. This entry is partially here for the historic post-match angle, which was equal parts stunning and cathartic. But before that incredible moment in time, this was all about 2 tremendous performers at their absolute best. Honky as the cowardly, unworthy IC champion, and freshly face-turned Savage as the boundless would-be conqueror. Savage was on the verge of regaining the IC belt, dropping his flying elbow across the prone champion when Bret Hart slid in the ring for the smoothest pinfall breakup you will ever see. The DQ ending led to the Harts and Honky setting Savage up for an El Kabong guitar shot, which Miss Elizabeth tried shielding Savage from. To the shock of everyone, Honky threw her out the way. He went on to complete the strike, but in the meantime, Liz hurriedly fetched Hogan from the back. Hulk ran off all 3 heels and famously shook hands with unsteady but grateful ex-rival Savage. The Mega Powers were born in the denouement of a well-crafted TV classic. Number 3, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ted DiBiase. With scant weeks to go before WrestleMania 4, the WWF previewed the eventual finals of the 14-man tournament to fill the world title vacancy. DiBiase had tried to buy the WWF belt from Andre the Giant following the infamous main event twin Hebner chicanery, and Savage, meanwhile, was resetting after he was unable to get a clean shake against IC champ Honky. Savage's win in the finals was a well-told, albeit compressed, 10-minute sprint, whereas this was an excellent 15-minute match, marred only by an indecisive finish. Savage is at his spring-loaded best, while DiBiase complimented Macho well, bumping off big moves, incredibly taking control when the time was right. Savage seemingly had the match in hand, but more shenanigans from Andre resulted in a protracted ringside beating and eventual count-out win for the $1 Million Man. Hogan and Chekhov's long-term chair made the save, the coda to a truly magnificent slice of 1988 WWF. Number 2, Hulk Hogan versus the Big Boss Man for the WWF Championship inside a steel cage. Chances are, if you've never seen this match, you've at least seen one significant moment from it. Hogan superplexing the 350-pound Boss Man up and over the cage wall while standing on the top rope. It's a wild bump for any 2 wrestlers, let alone 2 genuine heavyweights, one of whom tended to smartly work lighter matches. That risky spot was the apex of a truly great TV battle. out. Bossman had been a thorn in Hogan's side since the autumn, and their on and off feud finally came to a head inside 15 feet of solid steel. Beforehand, Bossman's manager Slick brought Zeus out to wear Hogan down, giving Bossman an opening to inflict massive damage. Then the superplex happened and both men had to start at zero again. A surprising bit of bloodletting and the use of handcuffs later, and Hulk was finally able to subdue the sadistic prison guard. It's arguably Hogan's greatest non-pay-per-view bout in America, and a clear window into what a true talent Ray Traylor was. And number 1, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Bret Hart. Don't be so shocked. You had to expect that the Macho Man was going to be all over this list. From 1985 to 1991, nobody at the main event level provided more awesome matches and moments than the Slim Jim Pitchman from Sarasota, Florida. While Savage carried lots of wrestlers to their best outings, his opponent here was more than capable of hanging with the Macho Man. Still a heel tag wrestler at this point, the Hitman was tasked with having a match centered around heavily working over Savage's leg, before Macho came back to barely squeak out the win. In his biggest spot to date, Bret credibly brought the fight to his star opponent, never looking out of place. It's little surprise that beginning in 1988, Bret got lots of singles opportunities while still teaming with the Anvil. After almost 15 minutes of sweet science, Savage overcame the onslaught to his lower leg, scoring a sudden cradle pin to outlast the master technician. Cutting edge in 1987, Savage vs. Bret holds up as a gem in whatever year you watch it.